Hey guys, what's good? Mr. Mig here, and I'm going to show you today how to make a house music beat. Let's go. All right, so here we are. I'm in Logic Pro right now. You could do everything that I'm doing in any DAW, whether you're using Ableton Logic, FL Studio, or Pro Tools. So with dance music, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is tempo. Tempos usually range from a minimum of 120 all the way up into the 130s, even 140s, depending on the genre. So let's start off today with something that's about 128. Let's jump in with the first track, which will be MIDI. So first thing I'm going to do is go down here to electronic drum kits, and I'm going to pick something. I'm not even sure what. Let's try backlight bounce and see what kind of kits we have here. So something called Pure House. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll grab that. All right, that sounds pretty good. Let me put my headphones up here. That's pretty good for a kick. Let's hit record, and I have my metronome on, and this is how we're going to start this track. And since the pattern will continue with that 4 on the floor sound, which is what you're hearing the kicks going 1, 2, 3, 4, we call that 4 on the floor in dance music. I'll just hit L in Logic and I'll loop it, or you could just copy and paste however you need to in your DAW. Next, I'm going to duplicate this track, hitting Command D, and I'm going to lay in a clap. Even this snap might be kind of cool. Let's do that. Let's add a little bit of reverb to the snap. All right, so the snap is going to go on the 2 and the 4 of the beat. So let's go and hit record. Once again, hit loop, play it back. All right, so in house music, we know we have very prominent hi-hats keeping the beat. So we're going to go and look for an open hi-hat. Once again, let's see what Pure House kit has. And it sounds like the closed hi-hat cuts off the open hi-hat. The open is the longer sound, the shh, and the close is for you newbies, for you newbie guys coming along here and just learning for the first time. Let's do that. I'm just going to do this to cut off the last hat. And once again, let's loop. I got to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of that sound, but what I'm going to do now is open up Logic's loop library, and I'm going to find something already made, like a house drum loop that I can put behind this. So let's see what we have here. On backlight bounce, let me find some kind of like beat, and I can just drop it behind here. I mean, that's good. We could use that. What I like to do when I use a loop in combination with my own drum programming, this is something that I do, and I'm pretty sure almost all electronic dance music producers and remixers do, is we cut out a lot of the loops low end and high end and just use like the parts that move the most. So I really don't like the open hi-hat that we used before, so I'm going to turn that off for now, mute it out. I actually like this better. Let me see if I can find another loop that will provide the open hi-hat. I don't know, but that's actually a really nice loop. Let's drop that on here too and see what this all sounds like together. I dig that. So let's take this and group that with this, and now we're going to make a loop group. We're going to make a loop group, guys. Let's do that. All right. And I'm going to take the EQ setting that I did on the one loop and just drag it over to the entire loop group. Now another little trick to make that loop move a little bit more is go into your DAW and find anything that is related to transient designing. I'm just going to grab the one that's in Logic and it's under Dynamics. It's called the enveloper. And I'm going to bring the gain down on the release, and I'm going to increase the gain on the attack. Now listen to this. Still need a hi-hat though. I'm not liking what we had. I'm going to go to a different preset and see what I can find there. I'm going to type in 909, which is the most prominent, memorable hi-hat sound you're going to find in dance music. What is it, 707, 808, 909. Let's go there. All right, this is cool. So you'll recognize this sound much more. So let's lay that in here. See what I'm saying? All right, let's loop that out. All right. Next, now that I have that done, I want to actually I'm going to take the 909 hi-hat that we just made. I'm going to drag it into the loop group so that it's affected along with the loops. It's just a little bit more cohesive together. And then I'll take the kick and clap and do the same thing. I'll make a stack for that, and I'll just call it drums. And now I'm going to add a compressor. I like to use Waves CLA2A. I just love that. Okay, we're moving on to some piano and to a bass line and get rocking here. So I'm going to open up another MIDI track. And I'm going to look for pianos here that are stock. Now, I don't have to use stock stuff. I actually I have my sounds that I like to use. And in this case, maybe we'll jump into the Korg M1. The Korg M1 piano and the Korg M1 organ bass. Like those two sounds together will take any record and automatically you have a house record. Just the sounds alone. And big shout out to my man Stonebridge. Made those sounds. I think he made those sounds famous when he did his remix of Robin S.'s Show Me Love. So let's go here and look for those sounds. We have the right here. KO1 is M1 house piano. Let's do that. And then let's also open up another instance of the M1 plugin. So let me go here and look for like an organ bass or something here. I forget, what do we call that? On here we call it, really it's just like any of these basses actually do the trick when it comes to this. For some reason, a lot of their basses sound like organs, like this one right here. And if I go and just take off the effects, oh, where'd we go? We lost our bass. All right, we could use that. We could try that. Let's try that. All right, let's do it. I don't know who I'm talking to, but let's do it. All right, let's lay that in there. That sounds dope. Let's try that a little longer. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Dun 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 dun. Put that here. Copy this down here. So I don't read music. I do this strictly by ear. So if you ever feel like, oh, you know what, I don't read music, I don't know if I could do this, I don't read either. I just listen to the rhythm and just train myself to hear where the notes are supposed to be put, where I'm supposed to put the notes, where they're supposed to be plotted, where the notes to be put. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know how to say it. You get it. Dun, 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 dun. So I have to do like this. 1, 2, 3. Dun, dun, dun. Want to do 1, 2, 3. Actually, that's cool like that. Dun, 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 dun. We have a funky little bass line going here. Let's extend that bad boy out. Now, let's take that, bring that up to the piano, and make some chords. Take this. So, da, 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 da. One, two, three, four. That's a fifth, right? Was that, wait? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a seventh, right? That's it. Take that whole thing, duplicate that. Ooh. I would just change a couple notes. Or do this. Interesting. I don't know how it's going to sound. Let's play with the bass. Actually sounds really cool. Let's play that with the drums. Sometimes you do these things and they're not even intentional, but you're like, you know what? I'm keeping that. So check it out. So we have that, right? Let's throw a little bit of EQ on the bottom of all of this, the piano especially, and add some reverb. I'm going to grab any reverb I can find and just put it right on the track. Same thing with a delay. Let's grab a delay and throw that on there too. I'm using Logic stereo delay. Just a little bit. Now, let's throw some kind of sidechain effect on there. In this case, I'm going to go to waves again and grab my favorite, which is one knob pumper. Drop it on there, turn it on, and watch the party. Watch the party get going here, or hear the party. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Cool. All right, so I need to throw that on the bass as well. A little bit of a low cut. That organ is not really a bass. I actually want to double the organ with an actual bass. So I'll go back to the organ track before I do any of this, and I'll make a clone of it, and I'll drag the MIDI information down to the next track. Switch this sound to just any bass I can find here in Logic, which I'll even do like a live sounding bass. What's this? A lo-fi tape upright. Or you know what we can do? Oh, I know what we can do. Forget that. We're going to go into the Mr. Mig 808 Monster plugin, which you can get on my site. I created this plugin from scratch all by myself. Proud. Let's throw this on here. Let's just get some bass. Ooh! Ooh! That's monstrous. See the flames? That's how you know it's monstrous. Because the flames are telling you. Let's change the preset from that's the MIGs. I just need to find something to go good with the organ. Let's bring the release time down a little bit. Let's add a little glide. I need to bring this up another 12. So we're up another octave. Ooh. Ooh. you hear that? Whoa! Wowee! All right, now let's bring it down a little bit. I really want that organ to do most of the work. So I'm gonna go back to the effects, the built-in on the organ. And what's going on with the bass is that it's sitting in a weird place octave-wise. So let me try a different preset. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Sometimes you got to change keys on this stuff too, so. There we go. Use the little G6 bass. All right, now I can add the one knob pumper to it. So I'm going to group these two basses, the organ and the bass together. I still consider that organ like a bass line, part of the bass line. So I'm going to copy this one knob over to that bass bus. So let me just go like this. There we go. Now we got a little bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Let's hear that with the piano. Take a little bit of delay off the piano. Balance the bass out a little better. I want that organ to punch through a little bit more. So let's throw on a compressor, CLA2A. Let's hear that with a kick drum. Brighten up the piano a little bit. Sounds good. So there's a note in the piano that I just think I'm going to take out. This one right here. Bring it right here. Yeah. Do it just like that. All right, great. So I'm going to have this repeat. I'm going to duplicate the piano track with some kind of synth lead just to give it some more edge. Let's go into here and find something. You hear that? So I can see that the master output is peaking here. So I'm going to bring everything down. It's way too loud for the master bus. Still peaking. Bring it down more. And then I'm actually going to add something to the master even before I'm ready to do any mastering. I'm just going to add Logic's basic chain on here just to get some compression on the output here. Take everything off except for that. Next, I want to add something like an arpeggio or something. So let's see what we can find. I'm going to go into the ARP settings here. give it movement. This stuff needs to move. This is dance music. So we bring that back here. Next, we're going to use just a simple, light string pattern. So all I'm going to do is look for something like a violin. 2, 3, 4. So the deal with this is I'm adding everything that I'm going to use on the full track, and then I'm going to start arranging things. So in this case, for the arrangement, I would start the track off without the drums. So we'll take this main drum, this main 2 drum tracks, the kick and the clap out, and maybe even this loop group. Bring them in here. 2, 1. And what you could do is, instead of taking it completely out, is you could add something called a low pass filter or a high pass filter. Let's try the low pass filter. And a low pass filter is an EQ that only lets low frequencies through. So when I solo out the loop group and I add this low pass, aka high cut, I know, a little confusing. Low pass is a high cut, high pass is a low cut. So here's how they work. And I don't even know why there's two separate versions of, I don't even know why they're called that. So here is the low pass, where we're letting just the instruments peek through, and then we're going to automate them to ramp them up and open like this. Check this out. By the way, a lot of you guys call this the underwater effect. At least the artists that I work with when I'm producing records, they go, hey, Mig, can you do the underwater effect? At first, I was like, I have no idea what that means. So I figured it out, though, by listening to like what they were telling me and obviously putting 2 and 2 together. It's a low pass filter. So right there, we want something like a crash cymbal, something. So I'm going to go back into the 909 kit, right? And I'm going to take just a cymbal. There we go. We need to use that as an accent for when we're coming into a new part of the track. So even on the first downbeat of the song or the track, we're going to add one there. And then again on the next section going into the verse. 3, 4. And that's how we're setting up this intro. And now I'll just drag that over here and copy that to bar 9. We have an 8-bar intro. And that crash needs to ring out a little bit more. So let me add some verb to it. Give it like 2 or 3 seconds. Even more. Oh, wet signal's not up, not up. That makes sense. All right, bring that like there, like that. Can even add a delay to that. To give it some more movement, you know. So let's add a stereo delay to that. There we go. That's nice. And I'm going to cut the bottom end out of that. I do that a lot, cutting out the unneeded frequencies we don't need that are below 100 hertz, typically on all tracks except for bass related tracks like a kick drum or a bass line. But even on a bass line, we cut everything, like typically, I do at least, above 50, 60. Kicks, I usually cut it around 52, actually. And we didn't do that up here yet. But I do that to make the kick punchier. So I'll open up an EQ here. I'll go here and say, right around 52, I want to take out a lot of that bottom. Sounds counterintuitive because you think of dance music as having like a big kick drum. But there's a difference between big and boomy. And big is really a perception. It's the way it sits in the mix. right there, crash. We need a crash cymbal there too. And we need a snare fill. So I'm going to open up one more instance of the 909 kit. Look for a 909 snare. Keep some of the reverb on it, not too much, and bring that down. Make sure that the EQ and everything is straight, and take some of this exciter off the output here. Let's add a snare fill. And I'm going to quantize that because that was terrible. Let me go in there and fix that. So I'm missing one. I don't know if it was that the MIDI, because I'm recording, got stuck, but felt like I played it correctly and then I didn't. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this snare roll swing a little bit. Right now it's just like ba 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 ba. I want it to be more like ba 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 ba, like that. Like let it swing a little bit. And the way to do that is to go up to quantize settings in your DAW and just add some swing like this. And I'm also going to filter them in. Same like we did with the loops up here. We're going to do a little low pass filter down here. All right, so let's filter that up like this. Change that to low pass, aka high cut. All right, so we have that. We have the studio violins. Cut some of these ARPs out. The EQ is like, they're too boomy. It's all about balancing everything out. Add a little bit of a snare fill coming into the verse. And now what I want to do is I want to filter down the pianos for the verse the same way that I did the filters before with the low pass. And we're going to just draw in these changes throughout to build the suspense and to build the tension. So let's do the same thing here. The piano rises all the way up from the intro to the full-on intro and then back down for the verses. the piano here, and I'm noticing that we need to take the one knob pumper and put it on the entire key bus. Do the same thing with the channel EQ. The same thing with chroma reverb. The same thing with the delay. And we need to also open up the high end of these keys. So let's see what we got. And we need to reverse the EQ here. It's a high pass. It should be a low pass. Bring that kick drum up a little bit. The kick should really be the driving force of dance music, so you should hear at least the tick, tick, tick of that kick drum. Here we come to the hook. So what I'm going to do is do a for a 16 bar verse into the hook. So let's copy all the automation over, and then I'm going to do the same thing again with the automation on the keys. Ride them up right around here into the hook. I'm actually going to move this fill right before the hook. So let me see, am I missing anything crucial? So when we're building up and we go into the hook, in this case, the drop or the hook, I want to add something like a shaker or something just to give the beat just a little bit of extra movement, especially on that second half. So let me see what I have here. That could work. Let's try that one. That's neat. That's kind of cool. Perfect. All right, so now we're into the second verse, right? So we're going to do the same thing. Just make sure that the first and second verses are the same. Let's get rid of anything else. We don't need it to end here. Also, let me see the length of this track. So we want to do this a couple of times. I need this ARP to punch through a little bit more, so let me back off a little bit on the EQ and the delay. Try that. actually like the delay on there. Let's keep that. So I want to take these keys and I want to make sure that that the filter is automating down and making space for the bass line and the vocals. And then you could just copy this out a few more times, depending on how many verses you need and how many hooks you want to do, and, you know, get it to, you know, if I do this one more time, we're going to get the track to almost 3 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, get rid of that. If I take this one more time, we should be almost there, right? Well, what is that? 2 minutes right there. Move. Wait, don't move that. We want to copy that. My bad. Go like this. I'm going to copy that. All right, so first verse is this section, and that is 9 through 25, 16 bars. Then we have 25 through 33, which makes a hook. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I highlight it. So 8 and 8 is 16 for the verse, 8 for the hook. Let me see if we need to double that. So we have hook 1, hook 2. We could even do one more at the end. It just depends on how you want to structure your song. Me personally, I would do a longer drop build up right here, but I'm going to save that for another video and show you guys how to do drops. And this is more like a regular house, classic house song. If we do something a little bit more straight up EDM, then we'll have that longer drop build up area. So let's do this. I mean, or we could just do this. We could just take all the drums out here and call this the pre-drop build. And then what we'll do is duplicate this section, bring everything back in here, and now you'll have a full pre-drop build and the drop. So that's awesome. I like that. Now let's take this whole section from the first verse all the way up to this part here and duplicate it. Now we have 2 full verses, 2 drops, 2 builds, And then we can even decide, like at the end, we're just going to add, because that's only 2 minutes and 10 seconds, we can duplicate this at the end, do one more time. And then if this was like a DJ mix or extended mix, there would be 30 seconds to a minute on the outro, just drums out here. Same thing with the intro. So and maybe right here you put a vocal chop or a top line, some kind of like synthy top line. Let's go to here and find something percussion plucked. You could use that, or yeah, that's good. I think I'm going to take the second half. I think that was the cleaner part. And so now you see how you can build these tracks up, and it's pretty simple. I mean, there's really not a whole lot going on. I'm going to go to the limiter, and I'm just going to squash the heck out of it. We're going to set my output to negative 0.1, true peak detection. I'm going to open up a loudness meter, and that is going to show me the LUFS. And the LUFS are like it tells you how loud and how dynamic your track is. Dynamics is not what you want when it comes to this kind of music. When people say, oh, I want my track to be dynamic, they're thinking energetic. That's not dynamic. Dynamic is when there's a volume difference between parts of the song, where there's a lot of ups and downs like this. But in dance music, you have to really kind of crush the master, which takes away dynamics, but it gets the whole track to be in the listener's face almost the whole time. So that is it. I hope you learned a thing or two or three and you enjoyed this video. And check the links in the description for all the good stuff that I sprinkle in there for you. That should help you on your journey. And that's all I got for you today. Check out the channel to find some other videos and stuff, and I'll be back. Mr. Mig, peace out.